Welcome to today's explainer dated July 29th, 2026. I'm stepping into the role of your expert healthcare revenue cycle management trainer today, and we are going to master one of the more complex scenarios an AR associate faces, handling claims processed towards offset and overpayment recoupment, specifically focusing on claim adjustment reason code OA88. All right, let's take a quick look at our agenda for mastering offset resolutions. We'll cover the definition and overview of offsets, do a root cause analysis, go over essential overpaid claim parameters, map out the resolution workflow, look at a standard caller note template, and finally wrap up with a quick knowledge check. Section 1. Definition and overview of offsets. So, what exactly does claim adjustment reason code OA88 actually mean when you see it on an EOB? Basically, an offset means the allowed amount on your current claim hasn't been paid out in cash. No, instead, the payer has applied it to make up for an overpayment they made on a completely different previous claim. It's like the insurance company realizes, whoops, we paid you too much last time, so they're just balancing the books by withholding your payment on this current claim. Moving on to Section 2, root cause analysis. Okay, so how exactly do we get here? Let's break down the timeline. First off, a mistake happens, right? The payer accidentally overpays a previous claim. Then step 2, the healthcare provider either completely misses it or just doesn't respond and refund the money. So what happens next? Well, the payer obviously wants their money back, so they just go ahead and deduct that overpaid amount from future claims billed under that same provider. And here is the kicker. They can take this adjustment from literally any patient's claim under that provider's umbrella. That's exactly why these things can be an absolute nightmare to track down if you don't know what you're looking for. Section 3. Essential overpaid claim parameters. Now we're entering the investigation phase. You're basically a data detective here. When you're on the phone with a payer rep or digging through a portal, you absolutely cannot walk away with missing information. You need to pull some very specific parameters to resolve the account. We're talking the original overpaid claim number and the patient account number. You gotta have the overpaid patient's name and the date of service. And of course, the financial breakdown is absolutely crucial. Get the billed, allowed, patient responsibility, and that exact overpaid amount. Finally, follow the money. You need the banking trail, the overpaid check or EFT reference number, plus the issue date and the encashment date. Without every single piece of this puzzle, your payment posting team is going to be flying totally blind. All right, Section 4, resolution, workflow, and decisions. So, with all that raw data in hand, how do we actually process it? Well, when you're handling an offset claim, your very first step, right after noting the process date, is to collect the allowed amount and the patient responsibility. From there, you verify exactly how much of that was applied towards the offset, and this is exactly where your path splits based on the math. There's a massive fork in the road here, and your next move depends completely on whether the payer took the full allowed amount or just a piece of it. If the offset amount is exactly equal to the allowed amount, which we call a full offset, you just jump straight into collecting the overpaid claim details we talked about earlier and then suggest the provider review and adjust the balance. But if that offset amount is less than the allowed amount, a partial offset, you've got an extra hoop to jump through. You have to first collect the payment details for that remaining difference before you even think about gathering the overpaid claim details. You literally have to account for every single penny of that allowed amount first. Now, you're definitely going to hit some real-world roadblocks. Picture this. You're following the workflow perfectly, but the payer rep flat out refuses to give you the name or payment details of the overpaid patient because of HIPAA privacy rules. When this happens, do not panic, and definitely don't just hang up. You just pivot. Simply ask the rep, okay, what is the patient account number? They can usually give you that internal system number. Then, you just document that exact refusal in your notes. Write down that the rep refused to provide details due to HIPAA, but did provide the account number. This covers you and proves you did your due diligence. Okay, so the final step here, once you've navigated the workflow and jumped over any HIPAA hurdles, is resolution. You need to route this account straight to your payment posting team. By handing them all those meticulously gathered details about the prior overpayment, they can correctly post the offset, adjust the ledger, and cleanly close out the balance in the billing system. Boom, job done. Let's move to Section 5, Standard AR Caller Note Template. Listen, standardized notes are pretty much the bedrock of a healthy revenue cycle. This template ensures that every AR associate is logging a uniform, super detailed caller note made specifically for this applied to offset scenario. It takes all the guesswork out of it for whoever reads the file next. You clearly log the date of service, the action you took, and who you talked to at the payer level. Then you meticulously list out the financials, exactly where the offset was applied, the banking details of the original overpayment, and your clear next steps. By just filling in these blanks, you're creating a perfect, audit-proof record every single time. And finally, Section 6, our knowledge check. All right, let's test those core concepts. Question 1. What does Claim Adjustment Reason Code OA88 signify? Take a quick second to lock in your answer. Well, if you said it means the allowed amount was applied to compensate for a prior overpayment, you hit the nail on the head. It represents a collection against a receivable from a previous transaction. Moving on to question 2. In the offset decision tree, what must you collect if the offset amount is less than the allowed amount? Think back to that fork in the road. Right, so because it's a partial offset, you absolutely must first collect the payment details of the difference amount. Every single dollar needs to be accounted for before you look into the overpaid claim itself. And question 3, how should you handle a payer rep who refuses to provide full overpayment details due to HIPAA? We just talked about this real-world barrier. You just pivot, right? You ask for the patient account number only, and then you make absolutely sure to document that HIPAA refusal in your notes to show you followed procedure. Now, to wrap things up, here's a thought for your wider strategy. How can proactively identifying systemic overpayments prevent downstream offsets from disrupting your revenue cycle? Think about it. If your team catches overpayments early and refunds them proactively, you avoid this whole messy web of offsets entirely. It's all about shifting from reactive problem solving to proactive revenue protection. Share and subscribe for free courses on Decode Healthcare with Harshal.